Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Loan Officer Playbook, the podcast where we talk about real insights and strategies in loan origination. Today, we're joined with Nate Valdez. Nate is one of the most mission driven loan officers that I have ever met. Nate delights himself in helping borrowers through mentorship with other loan officers, leadership, and also training. Nate, we're very excited to have you on the pod today.
Thanks for taking the time to have me here.
Yeah. So I really mean this when I say you were one of the most mission-driven people I've ever met because the time we met, I've actually had a call with someone previously before having the call with you, and it was polar opposites because I work in the lending industry where um, you're selling money pretty much. So
Mhm.
most people are incentivized by money. But when I talked to you, you were more incentivized by the mentorship that you provide and then the mission that you're doing. So you do these trainings and other things that you do. So I just wanted to ask you, how do you feel about being an anomaly in the industry where everyone is driven by money, but you're driven by mission?
Yeah, so from the very beginning, it's it's about to me it's about service, and I think it all comes back from me starting as a server in the food industry, right? Working with, you don't have any compensation, and your job is to serve. Uh, Most people served for tips. I served for giving amazing customer service and having returning clients come back and ask that we want to sit in Nate's section because we had a great time. And that's what made me feel um, successful or accomplished. Let's go with accomplished. I think accomplished is a good word. That I was able to provide excellent service. And so then once I kind of got out of the serving industry, I joined the military. After the military, I got into mortgages, home loans. I became interested with home loans because I too used my VA home loan to buy a house. And I kind of just took everything that my loan officer was working with me through it. And he actually was a great loan officer where I thought a friend was helping me out with buying a house because it wasn't just, all right, what do you want? Great, transactional. Go fill out your application. All right, sweet, congrats, you're approved. And then, cool, go find a house with the realtor. When it comes to on my end, it's great. I want to get to know Michael. Michael, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you looking to buy a house because you're currently renting? Great. Okay. I start asking, all right, great. Oh, you want a backyard for the dog? Makes sense, right? Like you want instead
Yeah.
of paying someone else to rent every month, you want that to go towards your own equity. So for me, it's a lot more about it's not transactional to where I hope I get the deal from you today or in a month, and then I never see, and most loan officers will never see their clients ever in the future. If there happens to be a mess up on their loan, it's someone else's issue. Whereas for me, all my clients are self-generated through referrals and just my own self-generating. And I'm creating a relationship to where I would love to be your loan officer or your mortgage broker for the next 6, 7 transactions, whether you're buying a house, refinancing it, taking fast every equity to improve your home. Um, Maybe you're buying the house today because you have kids right now, and the plan is in 20 years you want to sell that house, and then that's the equity you use to pay for their college. And then, if I have dads right now who have daughters, and they're like, I have college, I have weddings to pay for. How do I save up that much money in 20 years for, hey, you can save up, but also you can even buy a house right now, rent it out, let someone else pay the mortgage. And so I think there's a lot of different stories to what people are trying to accomplish. And so that's where I come in to learn, what are you trying to accomplish? And then, okay, great. Let me show you your options. And then the greatest thing about being a mortgage broker is I don't work for a lender. I fall underneath a mortgage brokerage. I think my license there. I work for the borrower to go shop lenders to match them with the right lender who's going to give them the lowest rate, lowest fees, and then we're good, right? They give us the home loan money. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I love it because now I'm on the side where I advocate for the buyers or borrowers to help find them the right deal instead of them coming straight to one bank and just saying, "Oh, this is all I can offer you."
Yeah.
And then I don't like the I don't like the idea of like borrowers have to make sure that they're making the right choice, and then they get three lenders and they're going to go with which one ever is the best, and all of them work for their lender for themselves. And I think it's when you come on the borrower's side, trying to advocate for them to make sure they're not getting, a bad loan option. I think that's the biggest thing because everyone works pretty hard for their income, and if I could save them, four, five, $6,000 in fees, that makes me happy. Um, you know, uh, $5,000 may not seem a lot to someone who makes that times five every month, right? But that's a lot to the borrower who took months, if not years, to save that. So I guess that's where I come in to just make sure I offer good service.
Right. Dude, it sounds like the all the things that you've done, for instance, working as a server and then working in the military and then also working as a loan officer, they've all been like primarily service things. Like there's so many jobs where you never interact with the impact of your actions. For instance, I'm a software engineer. When I was working at big tech, I never interacted with the customer, right? So
Mhm.
I was just providing a product and, never interacted with a customer and folks would just tell me what to build. So I wasn't like incentivized in the happiness of the customer.
Mhm.
And it looks like for you, so do you think like that makes it harder? Like you might find it easier because you've had the experience with, the military, but let's say you didn't have that military experience. Like how would you deal with, being a good relationship building person and being a service driven person if you didn't have that experience before?
Yeah, I can see where it would be harder if I didn't have my serving, I guess, serving traits, right? Being a server, serving others, and then serving the military, doing something that's not required, but you know, doing something that's a little bit more than what, only 1% of Americans, less than 1% of Americans serve. And so I still wanted to serve for my family, state, country. And then now I'm in a position where I'm serving others on buying a house because they ultimately want to have a home for their family. So I would say if I didn't have any of those experiences, it'd probably be pretty tough for me to know how to connect. Like, how do I make the difference between money and commission and serving and doing the right thing with ethics, right? So I think most people, ethics is, well, treat people the way you want to be treated. But sometimes some people who are money driven can kind of, like this will go down if, this will go up. And so, yeah, I would say with those past experiences I've had, that's definitely what connects me to um, just the overall service and how I do it. If I didn't do it, I don't think I would have those traits.
Yeah. It's not like plugging numbers on an Excel spreadsheet and then, seeing like one value going up because, one cell of a value going down. It's really not like that. You can never predict the outcome of relationships. Like you just have to do it.
And then my relationships are right. We all have different relationships with different people that we can relate with. So, there's a lot of things where most of my clients are. I have a dog. I have a golden retriever. So a lot of my clients are people that have dogs, and a lot of my clients are veterans because I served in the military. A lot of my clients are people who understand, like, I'm also Hispanic, so I have this, a lot of people resonate with a lot of things. And I think the biggest thing that on my social media presence, um, how you have your realtors who are loan officers or business people who just do 100% business. They're just all business. And then that means that they DM you, they mean business, right? Okay, let's see if I can convert a sale. Whereas you come to mine and everything is my entire life, right? My entire journey of, I'm directly consumer driven. Like I am direct consumer business. So like I primarily connect with consumers um, and then help them achieve their home affordability as far as understanding the home buying process. And I think they can see that I am also human, just like they are, right? I'm living a normal life. I'm I'm the guy that you see on my social media is the guy that you're going to talk to on the phone. There's not a professional. You get me professionally, and then I'm completely different in my personal life. You get me all the way around.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the direct to consumer business is hard from what I've heard from most loan officers. And most people struggle to get leads. Do you find that that's a struggle for you, and how have you overcome it?
probably in the very beginning of my business, I did because ultimately it was learning the business, and so maybe like, but we're also talking 4 years ago where that was an issue. Um, now where I'm at, like, I have an ongoing recurring business where I have pre-approved buyers right now. I have people who've the last 3 months, 4 months, year to date, I've had closings every month. Summer is pretty busy with, 4 or 5 closings every month. This month I had 4 closings. Next month I have three. And I think it's not it's a matter of it's a matter of being available to not just one market. I think most loan officers rely on realtors to feed them business. But if you're one realtor with 10 loan officers, hey, give me a shot. Maybe let me help your clients because most people go to realtors first. Um, and because realtors also go do open houses, realtors also brand themselves in the real estate market. People want to buy houses, so they say, "Oh, I want to buy a house. Hey, realtor, can you help me?" And it's like, great. Have you been pre-approved? Oh, the realtor probably already has three loan officers that they trust and they worked with. And that makes sense that they're going to use the ones that they've worked with. On my end, I never want it to be a loan officer who asked for business. I said, well, what can I do differently than every other loan officer? Well, I could go out and do my own book of business. I can do home buying workshops. I can go connect with military service members and teach them their VA home loan benefits. And then instead of, and that way, I connect with getting clients, consumers, understanding the process. And people I closed today are people I met 8 months ago, right? It's you don't need to be ready now to buy a house, but if you know you want to buy a house in 6 months, 8 months, a year, you probably need to know what ducks that you need in a row. So that way, when you're ready to get pre-approved, then I'll go ahead and handle your pre-approval. Then I'll go ahead and assist with that. So on my end, being consumer focused is it's a marathon, I would say. And the book of business I have today is from 8 months of work I did 8 months ago. Um, but it's definitely not salesy roles or things I'm doing as like, oh, buy a house, use me. It's more educational, it's more training, it's more what to do and what not to do, the difference between a retail lender and a wholesale broker, such as myself. Um, and then also, if you would like I don't speak Spanish, but I have people on my team that do, so I will connect you with someone on my team, right? So I do a lot more of the overall training education side. I would say people who are probably struggling in this market right now. Um, it also depends on what market they're in. It depends on who they're marketing themselves to. If I only market myself to first-time home buyers, then maybe your clientele thinks you only help out first-time home buyers, and that's probably how you're marketing yourself. There's something that I did on my social media was I'm a veteran. I'm a VA home loan expert. I know everything about the VA home loan. I had clients that thought, do you only help veterans? Oh, no, no. I'm just yes, I help. My specialty is VA. I help everyone. So it's also kind of having to rebrand what you do, how you do it, what market you're in. Um, I'm in Idaho right now, but I'm licensed in 3 other states. And people think I probably don't do business in Texas anymore because I live in Idaho. Well, no, I just travel because my significant other is a travel nurse or occupational therapist. So, but I just work remotely. So I'm still available to still do your home loan. So it's just a matter of just being um, engaged and up to date with your audience and your network. Um, and so I would say that's probably about it. Is just being very uh, um, Availability is the huge thing. I think there's some people who want business, but they also still want to still live their life on Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. And they say, "Oh, I don't work on the weekends. Talk to me on Monday through Friday during business hours." Whereas all my business, I say I'm 100% available when everyone else is off work. Like that's when business happens. People go look at homes on the weekend. People are looking at houses at night at 9 o'clock with their significant other. You have a
Yeah.
question about a mortgage, shoot me a text. I'm definitely up till midnight, right? So
I
I
mean, how
guess
else are they going to attend a workshop that you organize when they're working a 9 to 5, and then most people can't get time off to go attend a workshop, so it has to
right,
be on off hours. Yeah,
you have to allow yourself. I
yeah,
think my during the day business hours are to make sure the loans I have and processing everything's going smoothly, so that way I can give my clients an update. And then once it hits 4 o'clock, my phone's available for 4 to midnight is great. You want to go over first time home buyer? Do you guys have questions? Every other bank and lender is closed, right? So that's kind of where I come in as far as being available to consumers. Um, and then again, I don't have kids, so I don't have to tend to. I don't have to tend. I have fur kids, so I don't necessarily need to hold them and make sure they go to sleep on time. So I guess I do have that availability to consumers where I don't have something else taking me up for my time,
yeah.
like other loan officers do.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of loan officers that might be, in the same sort of social position as you. Like they don't have kids, they probably have time in the evenings. And if they want to do something like this, how do you do your management and organization with these workshops that you do? Do you have like an
Heck
executive
yes.
assistant
You
that do
know,
it?
I do everything myself still, and it's not that hard. I do use a lot of Chat GPT, and man, I call her Chatty, and Chatty is my LOA, right? So we'll start off with basics, and then I have to teach Chat. All right, great. Hey, by the way, I've been a mortgage broker for this many years. I've also closed this many loans. I've done this much in volume. I need you to give me answers to someone who has experience and expertise in all this, and this is what I'm trying to do. Not someone who's brand new, but but also if I was brand new, I can let chat, okay, I'm brand new. So then I kind of get to mess with chat a little bit, and it takes me like 20, 30 minutes to put together something that I'm really trying to do. But the biggest thing is if you're trying to do homebuyer workshops, title companies are your best friends. They are the center of influence, and they have a long list of real estate connections where you need to figure out what you bring to the table as far as value goes. Instead of being the person who's asking for business, how about you create new business opportunities for other real estate agents who maybe don't know certain things about certain loans? Um, you can connect with your title agents to go ahead and connect with the real estate agents, and then you can host a workshop like that. Um, as far as open houses go, I mean, there's every Saturday, Sunday, I'm at 4 or 5 open houses, and I don't necessarily, I look at Redfin or Zillow, and I can see what open houses there are. And I can say, okay, great. Well, I already know I'm gonna go do lunch with a friend at noon today, and then I'm gonna go across the town over here. But on my end, I still have my open houses that I'm gonna hit on the way. I'm still doing my normal everyday routine. But I also create pricing flyers scenarios for that specific open house with my information at the bottom showing the mortgage scenario for that specific house. And I'll just stop by and tell the agent, hi, hey, I just in the neighborhood, I saw you at an open house. I just want to drop off a visual for consumers so that way they can see what price this home will cost them on the mortgage. And then I also drop off one more sheet that gives you a monthly payment breakdown by purchase price. Because if that's not working with their monthly budget, they can look at the list and say, oh, we need to be looking at a house in this price point to stay within our monthly budget. Or, oh, I didn't know a house that higher would still put us under our monthly budget. So it kind of lets them pick. And then that lets you help them if they don't already have an agent working with them. Okay, great. I'll start a search for these houses in this price point because you said that works with your monthly budget. And then, where I create value there is great. Did that work for you to get new business? And then great. Hey, if you would also like me to provide excellent lending service, please don't forget to refer me to them because I'm happy to take a look at their current pre-approval and just make sure that they're being taken care of effectively.
Yeah. So you're a one-man team with Chatty,
Uh,
ChatGPT.
with my book of business, yes, but I also
Yes.
have my own team. I have 9 other loan officers on my team that I teach the stuff to, and they
Yeah.
are doing it in their markets along with my business partner. So it's me and him. We have our own team, and this is all I do every week, every day, is help mentor, teach, and build new business. But it's like I wouldn't tell anyone to do something I haven't done myself.
Yeah. Do you
So
think people are willing to embrace AI in this, day and age? Like, do you think you have to convince them to use ChatGPT?
I think I might need to show them, like give them a quick demo tutorial of how I use it. So I might, you know, there are times when I use it and say, oh, this is pretty good. Let me go ahead and report this because I want to show how this is my starting point. And then, great, this is what it gave me. Okay, go ahead and edit this, add this, take away that. And then how many times I mess with chatty to get my end result. And then I go ahead and use some of the stuff that it gives me to go ahead and see my marketing and branding. And you know, so it doesn't take convincing. Well, I guess it does take convincing, but it also takes, believing is seeing. So they also have to see you utilizing it, and then also realize like, hey, mess with it for an evening, talk to it, tell it about you. Because I can go in there and say, okay, I just met with Michael, and he wants me to go ahead and give him a layout of all the things I do. Well, I already have 7 months of backlog stuff with it to where it knows my background, it knows I'm in the military, it knows I'm a mortgage broker, it knows I have a team, it knows everyone on my team, it knows what I offer more than a retail lender. And so it basically already stores all this information and it does it and for you. And I think I'm gonna say this, I think people who use AI, um, they're utilizing AI to help create new business ideas, developments, marketing ideas, advertising ideas for themselves. I don't think AI is gonna, you know, like take over and run my entire office. I'm utilizing it to also give me other thought process or other ideas to think outside what I may not know. Because then I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I could easily change my perspective to using that instead of the route I thought I was going to go with it. So
It's just a tool. Like I feel like at times like these, if you think about when you used to physically mail um, loan files, and then the fax machine was developed, and now you can fax them. And then online submissions came along. I feel like those people might have felt the same way you're feeling right now, because you got into the business 4 years ago, and then a year later, maybe a year and a half later, ChatGPT came out. So you're right at this, inception point of this amazing new technology, and you're fully embracing it. And I just cannot imagine, when the fax machine came out back in the day, when other loan officers are like, "Oh my God, so I don't have to, go to the post office and then mail my documents. Now I can just put it on this little machine, and it would go out." So it just feels like you're getting a superpower every time.
yeah, I would say it definitely gives you the leg up on everything. Even when I'm creating flyers, marketing scenario flyers, I can easily take the listing from a specific on Redfin or Zillow, and it goes to the listing. It finds the agent, it finds their information, it finds the house, and then it will grab all of that stuff and put it on a flyer for me with my information. And I don't have to go to Canva and do it myself. There might be, I can say, okay, I want these 5 listings. I just copy paste, and it already has a template of how we created the one I liked, months ago. And so I told it from here on out, I want all my listings with co-branding information like this one. Remember this. And so now every time I drop it, it does it for me. And so I think what I'm going to use with it now is the next thing is I might hire an assistant to go ahead and let's start highlighting houses for sale, which some people are already doing this. They're doing it manually, they're using chat. and they're going to take listings that are out there. And my job is, I mean, I find a borrower for the specific listing agent. Can I take their information and share it with direct consumers, whether it's on Facebook, LinkedIn? I might have my own website where people can go in and have an idea of like, no, based off today's rates, this is what the mortgage payment is on this. Do you qualify for 1% down? Do you qualify for down payment assistance? So I'm probably going to have an assistant come in, use ChatGPT, and then teach them everything I do. But the biggest thing is not just for me, but also use it for my team. So that way you can do it for my team in their market. Or I might just hire an assistant for everyone on the team, so that way they're helping get more business exposure. I think the one thing that you shouldn't forget though is some people think, oh, AI marketing, all that can do that for me on social media. You still need to show up in person. You still need to be involved in your groups. You still need to show up, be a person who shows up, not just a person who calls. Because you can call all day, but people who get to know you on a personal level, now you have some friendship foundation there where, you know what, I trust that Michael is going to take care of me. I know him
Yeah.
personally. It's not just he's just trying to make a sell on me kind of thing.
It's
So,
like that saying 80% of life is just showing up.
yeah.
Like, yeah, showing up in person, having that rapport with them, it just hits different. Like even we're doing this on um virtual platform, but if it was in person, man, the energy would have been like 10x what it is right now in virtual.
Yeah.
We're
It
trying,
would be. It
yeah.
would be. But this is so great because like we're not doing it over a phone call or on the radio. I know some people talk on the radio, but some people on radio is also in person too. So you could feel the energy in the room too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
The use cases of ChatGPT and AI in general, there's just so many. Like most people don't even know where to start, what to use it for. So if you were starting all over again, this is a two-part question. Like,
Okay.
where would you start? What use case would you use it for first? And then the second question is, right now that you are um, sort of like an expert in using AI, what do you use it for the most?
Okay. So if I was starting all over, well, AI one doesn't know anything about me. Never did. But it will ask questions of all right, are you asking, what's the mortgage market look like? Right? Let's just use mortgage market. And it's like, great, yeah, this is what the market's looking like. Would you like me to tell you more about the home buying process? Would you like me to tell you the process of going to look at homes? Would you like me to show you the market over the last 10 years? Like it will ask you 8 questions, but it doesn't know which pathway to take you, right? And that's with anything asked, right? And it will give you information, but also it always finish with, what would you like me to do with this information? Um, Starting over is, I would tell AI a little bit about myself. Okay, um, my name is Nate Valdez. This is my current title. Um, and then I'll give it my career, my works, my career, my education. I'll teach it everything about me as far as like, think of it as an assistant, but like it doesn't know anything about you. So okay, like I grew up in Dallas, Texas. And I'm the oldest brother of three. Well, I guess three, but then I still have an older half brother. So like I'll tell them, oh yeah, these things. I even tell AI I was raised by a single mom. And the thing that made me so crazy about how awesome she did was she did a really awesome job with taking care of 3 kids by herself. And I loved the determination of work that she did. So I also have taken I've taken on that energy. And then this is the reason why I joined the military. This is where I went to college. I did my degree in communication, and now I'm doing my master's. And then, overall, this is my experience. This is what I do. I could even ask, with all my experience and kind of just getting to know that, what do you think I would be the best at in this field? Like with just my experience and who I am as a person and just my serving, what is it that I would thrive in this generation? And then you just watch AI kind of just take you through everything you just learned and just like sometimes you might feel like you're talking to an online therapist because it will tell you things like, wow, like if I was paying for therapy 2 months ago, I could totally just talk to AI, but like it basically learns about you. And then
Yeah.
it definitely affirms you for, wow, I could see like this is why you do what you do great at. That you did this from joining the military to having a mom raising sons by yourself to now you're a mortgage but you're at a retail lender. Um, I could see you being, I think the next thing it said was being a business development manager or a chief growth officer, where your job is to not just grow company revenue, but also growing individuals within the business. How do you help, like, and I'm just using from my example is, how can you use your experience to help others grow? Because I can see that you want a team because you don't want to just be the lone wolf going up the ladder. I'm like, no, I'm going up the ladder, but I'm also, I love that there's a ladder right here because I was not going to use this for this strategy. But like
You've grown up with,
as
yeah,
I'm going up my ladder, I'm looking at other people on their own ladders, trying to climb the ladder of their own success. And I'm like, hey,
yeah,
do this. And you're really good at that. And I'll get you up to that step. Oh, hey. And so a lot of it's like some people are like, well, would you just become a business coach? ChatGPT is asking, do you want to be a business coach? Do you want to do that? Do you want to do sales manager stuff? And it's like, it's crazy that that's where it took me to now. I'm like, great, I'm gonna get my master's in professional development because I love people and I want to help professionals develop. And then I'm probably gonna do my PhD in leadership so I can teach leadership attributes to make effective leaders and to create effective um, professionals underneath them because everyone's just always working up it. So that's kind of where I would say um, is how I would do it if I was brand new. I'm just showing you what it was done for me. And then now, knowing now, ChatGPT helps me kind of keep my plan with a path as far as okay, like I'm doing this, and this is what I want to do with my team. Uh, this is how I want to help my team grow. What do I need to do as a leader to help ensure that everyone's successful on my team currently? And then it'll give me my weekly plan of okay, this is who I would, these are the things I would bring up on your next sales meeting, on your next monthly meeting. I would push out this information to all your team people and create new branded flowers with just their information on it so they can share to their network. Um, okay, also I don't want to be a team lead forever. I would like to allow someone else to move up into a team lead and create their own team underneath my mentorship. How do I help them get there? So I think that's where I utilize ChatGPT to not just for self gain, but for it's not just self gain. It's like I want everyone to grow into the next thing of what they want to do. Um, and eventually, I might do some consulting with other companies, mortgage companies, businesses where they probably have some really great professionals that work for them. They probably have two great producers that are just top notch, but everyone else is, they're trying to figure it out. So for me, it's like, great. Do I want to come in and do I want to do a TED Talk? Do I want to come alongside each of those individuals and let me come in for a week or two? And I want to learn about every individual and their strengths and their weaknesses and say, okay, hey, you're really good at this. You should focus more on XYZ because, this is where you'll get um, more of a response. And every person's going to be different. I think most people go onto YouTube to figure out how can I be a great loan officer. And it's a very generic like umbrella, but you don't have someone come alongside to tell you, hey, like Michael, you're really good at effective nonverbal communication. Like you always give me a nonverbal cue that you understand what I'm saying. Right.
yeah,
But like I'm taking the time to learn about you. And then, what are your goals with doing your work? Are you going to do this forever? Are you going to do this for the next 3, 4 years? And if you're the person who's like, oh, I'm just here to be here because I heard you make good money, but I'll be here for like maybe 3, 6 months. Well, then great. I guess I can help assist you in learning that business, but I'm also going to be able to talk to your leadership to say, hey, um, all right, I got a feel for a lot of the different people. These four right here, I would love some more time with them because I think we could develop them into being the next, what they want to be and then what you want them to be. I think it aligns. Now, there's sometimes where leaders aren't aligning with their own employees, like what they want for themselves. So it's kind of creating, that barrier of like, where can we get along well? But then the person who just doesn't care I don't really think I need to pour that much into this person over here because they're this isn't they're not gonna stay for long, right? So those are just things that I could do that I think I'm gonna move into. Um, but that's what I'm using AI for right now. So
Yeah.
does that answer both questions?
It
The
does. It does
okay,
answer both questions. I want to like unpack so much stuff. You mentioned you're doing your master's in professional development
I am.
while also traveling the country, while also um, I mean, you have a pet, you have loans that you have to close, you're working, throughout the night. I mean, I don't want to ask a question about management, but it's like what excites you to do something like like the masters because it's not like
Yeah,
you have to do the masters thing, but I'm
you don't.
very, very pleased that you're doing it. That's so motivational.
Yeah, so my master's degree, so right now in the summertime, I'm taking 6 credit hours. So that's 2 classes, which is technically full time for summer. In the fall, I'll take 9, so that's where it definitely will be. It's all online, and sometimes it's hybrid. So I might travel, and if I happen to be in the state, I will attend a class in person because I would like to create that relationship with the professor because they know me online, but hey, it still gets me in person, right? It's like I have other questions that I may want to ask you in person. Um, so the management is my classes are on Tuesdays. My assignments would be the following Monday. I will say with my master's though, a lot of people in my master's, there's different age groups of experience or age groups and experience. Um, being that I'm already in a leadership role, and I've been in a leadership role for the last 10 years with the military and then as a team lead, um, a lot of the assignments are pretty much using what I've learned from that and how can I, what kind of leadership am I utilizing? Am I using servant leadership, transformational leadership, transitional leadership? There's all these things where it's like, oh, great. Like, whereas you have other people who just, other students who just graduated college and now they're starting. So they're kind of like, ooh, like they're kind of just learning, but I'm seeing it as a huge like experience where I can just talk to other students who are maybe 10 years younger than me to say, hey, no, this is what this kind of leadership means, right? I'm just speaking from a personal experience because, and then now they're asking questions to me. And then how do you delegate that or how do you deal with conflict resolution? So I'm having a lot of great insight to where I'm also mentoring and teaching, but I'm also learning what kind of leader do I want to continue to be and what kind of other leadership traits can I add into my toolbox. Um, so that's what the management comes in from. The management of everything is that my loans, I have a processor. So as I'm talking to to consumers about their pre-approvals and they go under contract, it takes me about a good 15 minutes to get a good pre-approval done. I verify pay stubs, great, you're pre-approved. Um, if you guys see anything on the market that you want me to run a mortgage quote on, send me the address. It takes me 5 minutes to go ahead and mess with the property taxes and set it up and say, okay, here's the mortgage quote on this house. Like, so there's not really much. Oh, and I need an hour to do it. No, I have a great system where I know exactly how to streamline my process. Um, and once you go under contract, my processor takes over and she handles all the back end work. She handles getting into underwriting, getting extra documents. I'm not processing my own loans because the processor is just really good at that. And if I did process my loans, I would always be on my laptop all day, every day, because you're always trying to make sure that things are getting done. And so I lost someone else to go ahead and just take that over, and he's doing a fabulous job. And but I'm still there, updating my agents and my home buyers on what the process is. Um, so I would say over and with a team, everyone is I'm available to my team as well when they have scenarios on questions or consumers about income. So I would say as of right now, I have a pretty good tight grasp on everything. I'm not really stressed. Everything, my some of my focus is here on my masters. Um, so my focus is on the home loans. Luckily, the processing has taken away like almost 60% of my time. So I'm glad that I have a processor. We just do all that. And yeah, So it'll be interesting this fall when I'm taking 9 credit hours. We'll see on if I will still be doing my own loans. I probably will, but I'm not currently, as of right now, I am working on my referrals from other referrals. I'm not going out to, I need to go get more business just because of my master's degree, but I am basically assisting my team loan officers on them generating new business. So
Yeah. Do you think these skill sets that you're learning are sort of preparing you for the leadership role in your next opportunity, whether that's in mortgage or something else?
oh for sure. Yeah. I think what I'm gaining is, I mean, it's mortgage and it's great because I have a good grasp of understanding how mortgages work. When I first entered, I knew nothing about mortgages. I knew I had a mortgage. Yeah, I knew the process as a consumer of applying for a mortgage and then getting into it. So then, but I would say it's definitely setting me up for the next thing. I'm curious to see what the next opportunity is.
Yeah.
And I hope it's an opportunity it's where I get to work with others and help develop other um, professionals become excellent, amazing, passionate about what they do. I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people haven't found is, oh, a job's a job, right? It pays the bills. And I think I love the fact, like, I'm self-employed. I don't have a salary. And I love it because the opportunities are endless. But I think once you start getting into the mindset of I am in control of what my own income for the year, it starts creating this this energy of wanting to know how can I be better. And that's where ChatGPT comes in, where it's like, I could pay for a mortgage coach. Yes, I have done that before. But like it creates these, what can I do to get this deals running? And so I think on my end, the next role would be assisting others on how to get their passion, what they're passionate about going is, and then them getting into something that they love to do. And I think the biggest thing is relationships and communication are great. Like our
Yeah.
lives revolve around communication. And if you learn how to communicate effectively, you know, um, you'll be able to get have good transparency between you and the other person, and everyone has their needs met. And a lot of people don't know how to communicate well, but I hope I can assist with helping others be confident in communicating their needs and their desires, and then what they're trying to accomplish when it comes to personal, career, all of it.
Yeah. The skills that you're learning right now, like the leadership skills and the ones that you've implemented before, the cool thing about them is you don't have to be in mortgages. Like it could be applied to any industry whatsoever. And that's one of the things I love about mortgages because hey, you're a sales guy, you're a finance guy, you're also an HR guy, you're also a people guy, all in one. Like some career is like a software engineer. Like if software engineering wasn't a thing, like I have zero skills other than like being a software engineer.
Well,
So
you do have more skills in software engineering because you did take time where like, hey Nate, I want to learn more about you. So then you're allowing others. 'Cause I'll tell you this, you did learn. I learned this from my undergrad, and it's people like talking about themselves because no one else really asks about what your ambitions, goals, dreams are.
yeah,
So when you get other people to open up, you're allowing them to share their story. And but you have the skill sets of, man, I know how to do this. I can help share their story. And then in return, you're showing great attributes of, I mean, you're great at listening. You're great at picking up. Like you're not just, oh wow, like I could say something 10 minutes ago and I could still be talking, and you're like, wait, hold on, you did say this back here, but then he said this. So you're really effective at listening. Whereas I'll say this, most salespeople, they're so busy trying to figure out what their next sentence is, right? Because they're always trying to sell. And
yeah,
it's like you can't just be present in the conversation. I would say presidency is great for you because like you're actually in the conversation, and it shows a lot of people like, oh, great, we're actually having a fluid conversation instead of just I have my next question, I have my next thing, I need to get something across. So
yeah.
yeah,
Lean in. That's one of the things I'm learning
lean
from
in.
the mentor of mine. He's like, you gotta lean in. Yeah, you gotta lean in. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
do you have any mentors, people that have mentored you that you know, have been super helpful?
Yeah, so I'm gonna use besides Chatty, I'm gonna go with my business partner. And
Yeah.
it's crazy because like my business partner, long story short, was my recruiter into the National Guard. I was in the Navy Reserves. He got me, and I wanted to go into the National Guard. So he was my recruiter. Crazy because most people don't talk to a recruiter after they join because you'll never see a recruiter again. And then he recruited me to come be a recruiter with him. So then he was my boss in recruiting. And then he retired, got out of the military, and then he got into mortgages. And then he was like, "Hey, I think this would be something that would you would really benefit from because you get to not instead of just like you've already done this for this many years, you should come over here." So it's funny. So he recruited me into mortgages, retail lending, and then I was there for a year, and then I moved over to wholesale. And it's funny because then I recruited him from retail to come over to wholesale to say, "Okay, hey, you're the one who taught me about the mortgage industry. I just learned about wholesale, and I've been over here for 6 8 months, and this is a completely different animal than retail." And then, so finally, it's funny, we always joke on the students become the teacher. So now I'm bringing him over to teach him the wholesale correspondence side. I would say what for him, been a pretty good mentor with the attributes or skills or traits of always being available that I kept saying you have to be available, you have to be available comes specifically from him is I call, he's available. If he's not available, he'll text right away. Give me 2 minutes. Give me 5 minutes. It's not just an hour later. Oh, hey, I saw you call an hour. So he's pretty good with even if he's busy. Give me 5 minutes. I'll call you at this time. So, and I think the availability part also taught me a lot was just always available, always lean into being available. I like how you said lean in. So I think we've had some other conversations about what we want to do with the business, the team. Um, so yeah, I would say he's definitely one of my good mentors right now.
It's nice. It's good to see that even though you have a lot of leadership skills, you're still humble enough to say, well, there are some times when I need mentorship, and I need mentorship is different from guidance. From your what you mentioned, it's more of a symbiotic relationship where he provides not necessarily sort of like professional development value, but sort of like companionship, basically. Someone
So
that is always available every time you need them. Um,
yeah,
this
we
is
talk
good.
like 4 or 5 times a day. So
Wow.
yeah,
You
and,
might as
and
well get
sometimes
married.
at like 11 p.m. at night, like and it's funny. He's
Yeah.
calling me right now. So and then I will do the same thing. I'll call you back. I'll call you back in a bit. Um, but yeah, but sometimes it's like 11 o'clock at night, and he's like, "Man, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, and it depends, because like most of the time, like I'm working on a new flyer marketing thing. I had this idea of doing this. It's like, all right, well, I got something to run by you. What do you think about this?" And so it's funny because then he will also run things by me because like I mentor him on the social media, chat, GBT. Just he's also like let's see, 30. He's probably like 15 years older than me, 16 years older than me. I think he's like 43 or 44, maybe 45. And I'll be 30 next week. So yeah, but like it's funny because like he comes from just raw, character, natural, just treat people good the right way and take care of them and they'll take care of you. And then I come in as great, like how can you use this platform to help show your story and show your services? And so we do feed off each other a lot. But yeah, yeah, you're right. It's kind of like a marriage sometimes because even like he'll call and I'm with my significant other and like if we're about to go to bed, yep, right here, about to go to bed. And then Allie will say, "Hey Gary," and then if I call him, his wife is also like, "Hey, hey." So it's just very like that's just our relationship. We're
Wow.
never uh, like being annoying or to each other. It's just we kind of just leaned into like, no, if we're going to grow a team, we have to be in sync on everything, even when someone else has an issue. If he's out of office, I'm available. If I'm out of office, he's available. So we've definitely leaned into just um, doing this team thing together.
Right. It sounds like a beautiful relationship to have. Co-founder relationships, like business partner relationships. When you find someone that you really click with, and it works like a puzzle piece,
Hmm.
and that's such a hard thing to find. It's almost um, all early like co-founding relationships. Like I've had co-founder relationships that have not been the best, and so it just warms my heart to hear that you've had such a great experience with a business partner. Um, when's your next workshop?
I just finished one 2 weeks ago, so we will have to see. I think that, oh, I do have one right now, August 8th. It's
Mhm.
on a Friday. It is here at Idaho Pups and L's, and it is geared towards renters with dogs. And so it's going to be great because on the workshop it says, on my flyer it says your dog deserves a backyard. And come here to Idaho Pups and L's, and I'm actually here right now. And it's a dog park where you can work remotely, and also they have a coffee bar, or they have a happy hour area too. And then,
Yeah.
but I've teamed up with them to where, hey, I'd love to do a workshop, and so it's gonna be geared towards renters for people who, bring your dog out. There is a dog park in the back. If you bring your dog, I'll cover the admission. So they worked with me on saying that they'll cover half of the admission too. So, they'll give me half prices on that. And then I'll cover, coffee or drink. And it's mostly just going over if you're planning on getting a backyard sometime for your dog, what does that all look like? How do lenders or loan officers or mortgage brokers assist you guys in everything? Is it about your credit score? No, credit score pretty much is your interest rate, but your income and your debt to income ratio controls your home affordability, right? So those are all things I'll go over. I do have some vendors that will be here. I have a groomer who's doing free nail grinding and free nail trim for dogs if any of them want to, and that's for her to share her services of being a dog groomer. I have another vendor that does a lot of bandanas and dog treats, and they make everything. And they're gonna come out and bring out some stuff, but also that gets their eyesight out on, hey, if you ever need dog treats or anything like this, accessories. So, and I'm looking for one more vendor, but I'm very I'm very about helping other local businesses grow. And so, with the current dog park place here, hey, if any of the owners come in and we decide like if for some reason, let's say 6, 7, 8 months they decide to buy a house and this is where we're originally met, great. I am happy, I even worked out with the owners here. Let's buy them a full year membership. And I will cover half of it, and then they are happy to sponsor the other half. So I was like, great, that could be a great closing gift. That's a $500 membership where, like we're coming together to do that for a new homeowner. So there's just so many things where once you start learning who is in your community that you can help grow their business, I can almost guarantee you that they'll remember that, like, oh, hey, like you did assist me with growing my business and you continue doing that. I have this person that is interested in this. So that's the next one here in Idaho on August 8th. And then it's one of many. I'm still ChatGPT helping me find some other ones.
Yeah. Well, if any of the listeners are going to be in Idaho on August 8th, you should certainly check out Nate's workshop, and bring your dog if you have a dog. Man, this would be so interesting if someone just shows up and was like, "I heard about you from the podcast." Um,
That would be cool.
yeah, I'll try to forward to one or two people that I know there that are in Idaho. I don't know if they have dogs though, but you don't have to have
It's
a dog.
all good. Idaho's a lot smaller, and Most of my network is in Texas, Colorado, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I fly back to a lot of those states almost every month for whether it's a closing or to do a workshop. So like my next thing in Colorado, I'm probably gonna try to set up a workshop there and the next following week in August. And then I'll probably do something in Tennessee and then in Texas. And so I try to do and then I also have loan officers right now who are, hey, like, you know, communication, public speaking, all that is not really my forte. It's not my skill set, but are you willing to where like can I use you as a consultant to come out to my area to help generate some new business, do some workshops, and we can work something together? Heck yeah, we can. I'm happy to come out and you and I can work on that together and I can do it for you as a consultant. And obviously if the biggest goal is to help generate some new business for you. So I think that's probably another avenue where there are other loan officers who were like, yeah, I would love to learn all of that. What can I do to do that? And then, yeah,
Oh, amazing. Well, Nate, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. This has been such an insightful episode. It feels good to have an unconventional opinion, but something different than the norm. Something that is proven to work for you and for your situation.
Mhm.
And one of the biggest things I learned in this episode is just define your success. And this goes out to the listeners as well. If your definition of success is you have to close 100 loans a month and that works for you, totally. Nate's definition of success is being able to delight people, help borrowers, and most of all, serve and making people happy. And that works for him. So whatever your success looks like, define your success and go work towards it. Um, this has been another episode. Oh, I have to ask you, Nate, how should listeners find you?
Amazing. So on Instagram and TikTok, it is me and my dog. So it's Nate and Denver. So that's my traveling Instagram and social media. It just shows you my what I'm up to traveling and goes over some stuff. And then so yeah. And then Facebook and LinkedIn is just Nathan Valdez. I'll pretty much pop up there. But yeah, feel free to reach out to. And also if you have any questions about, hey, I kind of took this away or I'm thinking of this, I'm happy to give you some insight to maybe I've already came across it and then this is what I learned from doing a specific, thing. And I can tell you, oh, you do this, but don't do that because I didn't see it work out for me. So I'm always happy to see other people also grow because in this, there's too many people in the world. I can't take care of everyone here. I think there's more than enough
Yeah.
to share. And I think if I could help you succeed in your market, I'm more than happy to help give some insight to it.
Thank you so much, Nate. Really, really appreciate it. I think if you could help everyone in the world, you would, knowing your personality.
I I would, and so we'll
No.
see. Maybe I might start weekly podcast or group. Who knows?
Oh,
I'll talk
come
to
on.
Chatty. I'll talk to Chatty about it and see if I can fit it into my schedule. So,
Amongst the other 100 things that you're doing.
yeah. So
Amazing.
cool, Mike. Well, I
Thank
appreciate it.
And we'll see you next Thursday.